What's going on YouTube? It is I, James Shima, the King of Hearts here at Jack of All Trivia, channeling my inner Stone Cold Steel. Because I pity a sorry son of a bitch who didn't watch the Royal Rumble last night. You hear me? What? Anyhow, that's enough of my bad impressions for one day. Joining me, as always, is Haven, the villain Pendergast, around the ones and twos. Haven, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going really good, man. This was a pretty good Rumble, man. I've seen a lot of hate online. Some people calling it bad. I thought it was good. You know, there was one particular part that I watched literally almost 20 times. You know, so we'll talk about that.
I'm sure you have gone very well on that thing. We might discuss that in a little bit, but regardless, we are going to go ahead and just recap the events of last night's Royal Rumble pay-per-view. One that I will definitely say is a marked improvement over some of the other Rumbles we've had in the last couple of years. Now, hopefully they actually do something with the results of this pay-per-view, unlike what happened with last year's Rumble wins. But we'll get to more on that in a minute. To start off, we did watch the pre-show, but we're not going to really go into too much detail here. We had a random throw-together match. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, the Raw Tag Team Champions, against Razor and Scott Dawson, one half of both the Authors of Pain and the Revival, respectively. The basic concept around this was if the makeshift team of Razor and Dawson could win the match, then each of those teams would get a shot at the Raw Tag Team titles somewhere down the line. Obviously, that didn't happen. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable go over. Next up, you had Shinsuke Nakamura defeating Rusev to reclaim the United States Championship, which that championship is just completely it's garbage. There's no resuscitating it. There is a do resuscitate order on that title right now because it has been buried so deeply. Lana got hurt in the scuffle during the course of the match, which we'll play into later. And then last but not least, we had a four-way match for the Cruiserweight Championship with Buddy Murphy, the champion, retaining in a very, very high-octane, very impressive match. Overall, Haven, thoughts on the pre-show?
Yeah, it was too long. Like, I don't understand why you need a 2-hour pre-show. Way too long. The random tagging match was weird. It was really weird, to have, I understand that Akeem is injured, so I don't understand, so they're going to be on the show for a while. That's the AOP, they're going to be on this, so since his partner's injured, the match was, nothing to write home about. It was a basic, boring, standard, lackluster match. The Shinsuke Nakamura one was a little surprising since I didn't think that Nakamura win the title back. Now he's a 2-time United States champion. A lot of guys win that belt twice, like for the last couple of years. Corbin had it. Kalisto had it twice. I think Bobby Roode had it twice. And people win that belt twice. And it's just like, oh, yeah, whatever. I like Lana screaming, like, oh, you're cheating. You're cheating. And I was like, weren't you guys a heel for like the first 3 years you were there and cheating? And I love Lana to death.
That really the best thing to come up with was just repeating that phrase over and over again. She couldn't find something else to say to him to try to distract him. It's like, geez.
Yeah, yeah. She was pointing at him. You're cheating. It was so. She got knocked down. Rusev hit her by accident. He's looking at her. Kinshasa. Boom. 1, 2, 3. New United States champion. And the Cruiserweight title, I thought Hideo Itami was going to win it, but I had that wrong. Fast octane matches, a couple botches here and there, but it is what it is. But other than that, it was fun for what it was. But yeah, the pre-show was forgettable, definitely forgettable.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, we don't need these pre-shows. Like, we don't. We absolutely do not need them. I get why you run them to try to hype people up to pay for the network or whatever, but it's just like, just stop it. Do whatever you got to do on Twitter or Snapchat or whatever. Leave the pre-shows alone. Let the dark matches be the dark matches and just have an actual decent main card. We don't need 7 hours of wrestling, which is damn near what we got yesterday. Anyway, let's go ahead and start off with the opening match. The SmackDown Women's title was on the line between Asuka, the defending champion, and the man, Becky Lynch. This was a really solid match. Both these ladies going back and forth, trading submission holds and just doing damage. That one spill, it looked like they almost tried to do a neck breaker off the apron, and just they both landed kind of weird. Like, holy hell, that was nasty looking. And then, of course, we had the screen went black for about 2 or 3 minutes because obviously something happened that they didn't want the folks to see. We won't dwell on that too much. In the end, they're trading back and forth. Becky tries to get Asuka in the Asuka lock. Asuka, in turn, tries to get Becky into the disarm her, and eventually Asuka does lock in the Asuka lock, bridging out of it in almost a cattle mutilation style submission hold, and Becky Lynch taps out. Again, I don't really have much to say on this. Like I said, it was a great old match. The only real issue I had with this was I just don't know that you needed Becky to tap out right there. Like, I felt like she could have passed out easily enough, just kept her credibility a little bit, and then did what she did later on in the night, which we'll get to. But overall, like I said, very solid, back and forth, heavy hitting match. And the right person goes over, in my opinion. Haven, what do you think?
Yeah, this was the right match to start the pay-per-view with. Both ladies are, over, even though WWE tried their hardest to, put Asuka on the shelf. She was she's still a fan favorite. People pop for her. Starting with this match was a really nice touch. And it was, like you said, it was a hard-hitting match. Both women doing, trying to do submissions, doing each other's submissions. Yeah, that out the ring spot looked kind of nasty. You tell the ref went right up to Becky was like, "Hey, yo, King," and she was like, "Yes," So I think she kind of angled herself so she wouldn't injure herself. But it seemed like a little nasty spot. But I don't mind her tapping out because you got to build Asuka back up and show that she's legit tough women. And what better way than to get a tap out? And to be honest, Becky's on such a high right now that the tap out submission didn't really do any damage to her. If she, like some people were saying, like, oh man, somebody could have interfered, or like you said, her passing out. But then it's like, if she passed out, then what? They give her the smelling salt, and then she just wakes up and comes back later on tonight. So I didn't mind it just shows that it's a little believable that once you put a move on somebody, it's not like back in the day, in the 80s and stuff. So like, you could be the greatest wrestler in the world. Somebody puts you in that, that submission, and if you can't escape, you got to tap out. So it's kind of, on par with UFC. So I didn't mind that at all. She still walked away with some of the biggest pops of the night. So I thought the match was great. It was fun, and both women looked strong, even in defeat. I thought Becky looked strong.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's very with that. I guess my issue is how quickly she tapped out. Like, I felt like she could have struggled a little bit more in space to make it a little bit more believable rather than just like she tapped out about as quick as like Carmella would have tapped out if you put in that hold or something like that. So I guess that's just my big issue with it. But like I said, overall, I didn't have any other big problems with the match. Like I said, hard hitting, great opener, good stuff. So next up, we had the SmackDown Tag Team titles on the line. The Bar defending against what I am dubbing as Team Shane O'Miz, which just makes, it's a pretty good team name if you ask me. Like, Miz was wearing something that said Miz or Mac and Miz or Miz and Mac, and I was just like, nah. But in any case, I'll tell you, the moment I knew Shane and Miz were going over was when they panned to Miz's den. I was like, yep, they're going over. And then you had a lot of good moments here. Miz took a lot of heat, which made sense. The coast to coast attempt by Shane into the Cesaro swing I thought was insane. And then obviously getting put through tables and like all the other shenanigans on the outside they're all the. Anytime you get that kind of stuff going on the outside, it's always entertaining. But then of course in the end, Miz pushes Cesaro, who is holding Shane up to receive a bro kick in the path of the bro kick. So Cesaro takes it. Miz then hits Sheamus with the skull crushing finale, and then freaking Shane Mac with the shooting star press to pick up the win there. Like, and that's the thing is like you figure it'd look like awkward how old Shane is and how little he actually wrestles, but it was damn near on target. So I mean, props to Shane McMahon. I mean, good on you, tag champs, and now we'll get whatever this storyline is heading into WrestleMania. But I mean, I guess it makes sense that they're in. You know, last year at Mania, Sheamus and Cesaro lost to Braun Strowman and a 10-year-old, and now they lose to The Miz and a 49-year-old man. So, I mean, thoughts, Haven?
Yeah. I seen Miz's father one time before, so I knew that was his real dad. I seen him on that the YouTube show. You know, my son or daughter is a WWE superstar. So I was like, oh, that was pretty cool that his dad was there. Yeah, you know, the only thing, the match was okay. You know, the only thing I didn't like was that, you know, the Miz was getting worked over, so you knew that Shane was going to get the hot tag. Freaking Shane was going to come in with the hot tag to clear the house. Shane, to me, just got too much offense off, you know, for being not even a part-time wrestler. He's, you know, I don't even know what to categorize him as. But I'm not gonna lie, man. That shooting star press was fucking on point. That thing was perfect. That thing was beautiful. 49 years old doing that. I was like, holy crap. I was like, good on you, Shane. Like, you know, that was awesome. You know, now they win.
Sorry, I was gonna say, guaranteed Billy Kidman's shooting star presses don't look that good anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I was like, wow. I don't think I've ever remember seeing Shane do that move. That's why I was like, whoa. I was like, holy crap.
He pulled it out once in the match with AJ Styles a couple of years ago.
Oh, at the WrestleMania? Yep.
Yeah, he missed.
Yep. But yeah, you know, so I had them winning the titles because I figured something was going to happen with some kind of storyline. So, you know, this was to me, the weakest match on the card. So I kind of expected it to be. So, yeah.
Yeah. I won't say that this was the weakest match on the card. I mean, from a technical standpoint, absolutely. I think the weakest match on the card we're going to get to later because it was one that the audience was just completely checked out on. But we'll get to that momentarily. Next up, we had the Raw Women's Championship match. Sasha Banks challenging Ronda Rousey. First of all, I loved Ronda's White Power Ranger inspired gear. I thought that was awesome.
Yep.
I'm actually looking forward. There's a fanboy expo going on here, and Jason David Frank, the guy who played the Green and the White Ranger, will be here. I'm gonna probably go see it if I can get a picture with him, get an autograph or whatever. But aside from that note, good solid match overall. A couple of messy spots here and there with them, just kind of like, you know, Ronda trying to get a hold of Sasha or just, you know, being kicked on and like vice versa. Sasha Banks did a suicide dive and didn't almost kill herself, so that was a highlight if you ask me. Yep. Great stuff. I loved Sasha using her gear to try to like gag and like choke Ronda Rousey out a little bit in the Banks statement. I thought that was really effective. But in the end, we do get Ronda Rousey going over using her twisting Samoan drop side slam, whatever you want to call that thing. They call it the Piper's Pit, which, you know, cool tribute to Roddy Piper, not bad. But yeah, she hits that and then bridges into it for a pinfall win rather than a submission win because Sasha had been going after Ronda's arm for the better part of the match after Ronda knocked it off one of the ring posts. Like I said, I thought that was a good way to work that in there. I don't know if they had to go as far as like blurring out the LEDs to where it's like, oh, static and then goes blank. It's like TVs haven't worked like that in years. Like, come on. But I mean, that's just me not being able to suspend my disbelief as far as technology goes. But Haven, thoughts on the match?
No, see, I like that part. It just shows that, you know, she hit it hard. You know, yeah, you know, I can understand what you're saying, like the suspend disbelief. But when you're watching it, especially if there's a lot of little kids watching it, they probably see that spot and be like, oh man, that was so cool. Like she hit her arm really hard, man. She broke the ring post, you know, which I thought that was a fun little spot. You know, I liked that whoever was behind the scenes because they had to cue that up, you know. So, you know, it was WWE is a machine, you know, and I always give them praises for that. Story writing is another matter, but you know, they're a well-oiled machine. They know what they're doing from beginning to end. You know, I liked it the match. I liked it the very beginning of it. It had that big fight feel to it. You know, Sasha kept getting in the face. The ref was like, you know, trying to break them up before the bell even rang. Like you said, Ronda looked amazing in her White Power Ranger outfit. That looked really cool. You know, and Sasha was for the last year, Sasha barely has done anything. But for her to really bring it the way she did, I really enjoyed it. I didn't care for Michael Cole. Obviously, he's annoying as shit. Oh man, this is the most competitive match she's ever had. It's like, dude, she just fought Charlotte Flair, what, a month and a half ago? Like, that match was, so it's like, whatever, dude. Yeah. He's going to say the same shit.
And to saying that about Sasha, it's like, did you not see NXT TakeOver Brooklyn or NXT TakeOver, like, Respect or whatever the hell you wanted to call it? Like, Sasha has had way more hard-hitting matches than that. So,
yeah,
it's ridiculous. And as far as, I'll go back to the LED thing. Like I said, from the aesthetic point of view, I understand why it was done. My problem was, if that was what they were going to do, as soon as her arm connected with that, it should have gone to static. But this is because of the delay that just kind of took me out of it. But that's just, like I said, from my perspective.
Yeah, it was a little botch when, I don't know what's with what Ronda was trying to do. Like, she came off the top, I think, and I don't know if she was trying to throw an elbow or what, but then she kind of just landed on her. Sasha fell to the ground.
Yeah.
And then she went for like a makeshift pin. The Piper's Pit move, she's done it before, a few times here and there. But especially at this pay-per-view, I liked how they flipped the script, because usually Ronda's always winning. Every match is with a submission. This time she won with a finishing move. And then the match we're going to talk about a little later, one of the matches where the guy always wins with his finisher move, he won by submission, so I liked it to change in this pay-per-view for both of those, both of the former UFC giants. So I thought that was unique. I thought it was cool. But yeah, Sasha, at the very end, they're kind of, jibber jabbing a little bit. I think, was it when they went out the ring, then they shook hands finally, and then Sasha threw up the floor. So I was like, oh, okay. So we got to see what happens. But yeah, it was a good match. I like. Oh man, you didn't touch on this, but when I don't know if Ronda was mic'd up or she was just right in front of the Hart cam when she was like, and she was looking at the fans. She wasn't looking at Sasha, and she was like, "Oh, you think I can't wrestle? Oh, you think I can't wrestle?" And then she did the two amigos, and she was gonna go for the third, and I was like, "Damn!" I was like, "Holy," like I don't understand people hating on her, because she came into this business. She's learning. She's not like flying by, just bullshitting and just doing like stupid stuff. She's really training. She's there every week, and she's taking it like head on, so I don't understand the whole, if she can't wrestle shit. She's wrestling her ass off, and yeah, she's not the greatest yet, but been there not even a year.
She's been protected and given the title, and just she was basically, it's because they don't like that she's been handed the title like in her third match, and that she's being protected, and it's like, oh, she's gonna win again, Super Ronda Rousey, just like Super Cena, just like Super Reigns. It's the same thing, and I get the difference, and I respect, like, that's why I respect Ronda Rousey more than I respect Brock Lesnar. She's there putting in the work, proving that she wants to be there. So I don't have nearly as much of an issue because she's got a 3-year contract right now. The contract she signed was for 3 years.
Yep.
So at least up until 2 years from now, 2 years from now, either at WrestleMania or at the Rumble, that's when her contract runs out. So she's proven that she's there for the long haul, and she wants to be there, and she wants to really become a force in professional wrestling. So I don't have nearly as much of an issue with her having the title as early as she does, being as she is this early on. So, and again, to me, it just makes it all the more important when they finally do decide to put someone over her. It establishes them as, okay, this is the next woman who's going to run this show, who's going to be the face of the women's division. So, to me, like I said, I'm perfectly fine with it. All the other haters that are out there can, as the Brits would say, bugger off. Anyhow, let's go ahead then and move on. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the next match was the Women's Rumble, right?
Yeah, it was top heavy. The first hour or the first couple hours were pretty much all women's matches. It's pretty top heavy. Besides the tag team.
Besides the tag team title match. Yeah. So Women's Royal Rumble match. Let's just go ahead and we'll just briefly go over some of the highlights here. First of all, I like that one of my picks for a surprise entrance showed up, Rhea Ripley. Hell yes.
Sorry.
That girl's been ready for main roster since 3 weeks ago. I mean, good night, Irene. That she is impressive. She looks stiff. She's got the look. She's got the swagger. She's got the skill set. Like, just, I mean, like if she doesn't at least appear at Mania in some capacity, there's something wrong.
I doubt she will. I mean, she's UK talent. They're just going to be focused over there, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, it's sad. But in any case, so then we had some really good back and forth. The Iconics I thought were funny. I thought it was interesting having Lacey Evans start the match. Natty was your Iron Woman. Natalia hung in there for the longest. I thought it was hilarious. Of Morgan when she got eliminated. Like, good night, Irene. That landing looked rough. The storylines going between like Mandy Rose and Naomi, I thought were good. Really played in and it really carried something forward. I liked that most of the surprise entrants were NXT heavy. There were no legends this time around. Like last year, this year was focusing on the present and the future, which I thought was needed.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I thought getting Io Shirai in there was great. Candice LeRae was great. What was her name? Zia Lee, the Chinese girl, I thought was awesome. The Chinese. Well, Zia. Her name was. I can't pronounce it, but yeah, they are pretty good. You know, all of them were in there for a little bit. You know, got a couple things off. Yep. And overall, later on, said you had Lana come in at number 29, I believe. She was limping pretty good because of the fall she took in the Rusev Nakamura match. And then, you had Becky Lynch come out and say, hey, she can't go. I want in. And, you know, she's arguing back and forth with Finley. And finally, Finley says, all right, go ahead. Which, since when does Finley have the authority to make that kind of a decision? Like, where were Triple H, Stephanie, Shane, and Vince on that one? Like, aren't they the ones that are supposed to be running the show here? Like, I just thought that was weird.
Yeah, they weren't going to come out to the ramp and be looking on an injured person. That's not what they do. So that I just wish I think at that moment that's when they should have did the Bret Hart Hulk Hogan from WrestleMania 9. Like Lana should have just been like not even looking at her, just like, you know, waving her in, and then Becky just runs in like, hey man, yeah, and she just like, go ahead, and then she would have went. Because Finley just going, yeah, they should have at least Lana just be like, you know, waving her like, go ahead, I can't do it, go ahead, you know. But hey, the real MVP though, man, on some was that little girl, man, Koya.
Casey Catanzaro.
What's her name?
Casey Catanzaro, the girl from American Ninja Warrior.
Yes. That was a freaking surprise and a half. Was she in a Royal Rumble before?
No, like this was her first time in there. Like I think she just got in with NXT like within the last year or whatever. But dude, that save that she did was freaking ridiculous. Like that was a Kofi Kingston and a half save right there. Like,
that was better than what he did. You know, that was way better than the shit he pulled later on tonight. He just needs to stop. We're gonna get to that, but especially that thing where she was outside the ring, grabbed the ropes and like matrixed, like literally she was like she instead of just like jumping in, her whole body was up for a second and it seemed like everything like slowed down like Matrix, and then she threw her legs on whoever it was and came back in. I was like who the hell is? I was like once they said that, I was like, okay, she was on a. I was like, is she signed to NXT? Because I don't remember ever seeing her wrestle. Because she looks like a little kid compared to everybody else, you know.
Yeah, I don't think she's actually had a match in NXT yet, but I do know she's been working in the Performance Center and she is signed to an NXT contract. So, but yeah, like you've seen her on American Ninja Warrior, like her core strength is ridiculous. So when she did that, it wasn't all that surprising. But at the same time, you're like, I've never seen that before in a WWE environment. So that was friggin' awesome.
Dude, even and then, like when you're saying when she was outside doing the handstand coming up, and then when she grabbed the ring post by her legs and just pulled herself, because I was like, how the hell is she gonna get up from there now? And she literally just pulled herself up, you know, by her abs, you know, and then grabbed the ring post, got back in. I was like, whoa! I was like, man, this girl, you know, whew, that was pretty impressive.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. As quick as she is, and as much core strength and everything as she has, I get the feeling that Casey Catanzaro is going to very much end up being the Leo Rush of the NXT Women's Division. Like, Leo Rush does some impressive shit. So I feel like she has that capability with obviously a lot more training, a lot more experience, but I feel like she has that potential. But in any case, let's get down to it. Our final four were Bayley, Nia Jax, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. In the end, it came down to Charlotte and Becky, as Becky's going to keep herself from getting eliminated. No, she hadn't been eliminated. She went under the bottom rope, pulled Nia down off the apron, eliminated Nia, goes to get back in the ring. Nia shoves her. She tweaks her knee. And obviously, they're trying to tell the story of, she's not going to be able to go. We're going to award it to Charlotte. Nope, she runs back in the ring, and through sheer force of will, Becky Lynch eliminates Charlotte Flair, and the man is going to WrestleMania. How awesome is that? Like, honestly, this was the best option, because if they had gone with Charlotte, I could have easily seen an entire crowd turning on that Rumble match as hard as they did on both the Batista and the Roman Reigns Rumble wins 2 years in a row.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, she got a great pop, once they finally did play her music, because she was out there with no music. Fans could see her. I want to talk about the arena. I liked the look and the prosthetics of the arena. It wasn't too flashy. I liked that they were coming straight up out the dugout. They just had a couple signs, because it was a baseball stadium, so they couldn't have these big elaborate, things up there. They just had little but I really liked the entrance too, because when I first seen it, I was like, oh shit, this thing is super long. I thought it was gonna, but it turned, and so it was actually shorter than I thought it was. Because at first when they showed coming from it, I was like, man, that thing is so long. I was like, are they gonna have the little carts bringing the wrestlers into the ring? But it was not that. It was close. I really liked it. I really enjoyed the arena, the look of it, fans. Once her music popped, man, the crowds went crazy. She goes in the ring, of course, who's the first person she sees? Nia Jax, so they have their back and forth. I liked it. I liked it, the Iconics, they were kind of a favorite of mine. I liked it how, was it Peyton Royce was the one that came out first?
Billy Kay was out first.
Billy Kay was first, and she's just walking around the ring saying no, I'm just going to chill out here. Nikki Cross comes out. Nikki Cross comes out, pushes her into the barricade, and she goes in. Everybody got shine, like you said. I'm glad that they didn't really have any past legends, because this was more about the future people, and they had enough women to fill the 30 spots. So that was really impressive. And man, this Rumble was right up there with. Dare say it, man. This was probably better than the men's, in my opinion. They had a lot of cool spots. Ripley was the one that eliminated the Iconics, but I think the way the camera was, they couldn't see it. It was a cool spot too.
I don't think it was Rhea Ripley. I thought that was Lacey Evans, because I didn't think Rhea was in there yet.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because she came out 25th. Rhea Ripley. That's right. Lacey Evans did a cool spot.
We had Zelina Vega pulling a Jerry the King Lawler, hiding under the ring, and gave a shut up.
Yep.
I thought that was funny.
I heard he was around the area, so I was like, oh, they can actually use him. But I like the Zelina Vega coming out with the Vega, from Street Fighter. Yeah. That was cool. She came out the claw.
I didn't use it. I was more of a Mortal Kombat guy. I never really played Street Fighter, so I had no clue who that was.
What?
My two fighting games of choice were always Mortal Kombat and Soul Calibur, so I had no clue.
Well, Street Fighter came out first before Mortal Kombat. Everyone was playing Street Fighter, but each their own, I guess. But it was a fun Rumble, man. The crowd was really into it, and it was, I think the right woman won. We both agree. I liked it. The whole storytelling aspect of the whole thing from beginning to end of this women's Royal Rumble. I thought it was great, man. It was awesome.
Yep, agreed. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and move on. Was the WWE title between AJ Styles and the defending champion Daniel Bryan. I feel bad for these guys, because that crowd was so drained from the hype and the pop and the cathartic release of seeing Becky Lynch win the Women's Royal Rumble. They had to be completely dead by that time. I think that more or less was part of the reason the crowd wasn't as active in this one as plus the match was just moving at a much slower pace than you would expect from these guys. You'd expect some fast hitting, almost cruiserweight level action, and it was mostly a lot of submissions, a lot of rest holds, and things like that. So I kind of felt bad for the guys. in the end, really the only true highlight of this thing was Eric Rowan showed up for some weird reason, and helping Daniel Bryan win after a ref bump. He basically Von Erich claws AJ Styles and then just choke slams him that way. And Daniel Bryan crawls into the pin, and Mike Chioda counts 3. Yeah. Any other real thoughts on the match?
It was really boring, man. Like, this is the 3rd match they had. You think this would have been the one everybody remembers, but this one, to me, honestly, is gonna be the one everybody forgets, because you would think, okay, they had the first one, he won the belt from AJ Styles, then they had the second one, he retained. This is gonna be the end all be all, to solidify or to end the feud. And this match was freaking, even if the crowd was dead, the crowd, they just got through watching, the women's Royal Rumble lasted almost an hour long, so the crowd might have been maybe a little tired, but these guys, hands down, these are the 2 best athletes you have on SmackDown, the 2 best wrestlers. They're fighting for the championship. Yes, Randy Orton's great or good wrestler, Samoa Joe's great, but these guys are hands down the 2 top dogs when it comes to wrestling on SmackDown. They should have had a barn burner of a match. And it was, like you said, it was submission after submission. They never really elevated this match up to be more crazy or pulling out all the stops. It was just a flat match. And Rowan, I don't know. I guess they're gonna, do some vegan army thing. I was thinking of a catchphrase for Daniel Bryan. I was thinking about this today, and he was like, what the hell was it?
I was say he calls himself the planet's champion. I know that much. So you can just call him since I think somebody called him Captain or whatever. Just call him and Rowan or some shit.
I had a catchphrase for him and I totally forgot it. It was like I'm gonna put the smack down, or I'm gonna take you to vegan town, or I forget what it was, but I don't know. Hearing, I'm like, are they gonna be a Wyatt Family 2.0? I was like, whatever.
Especially because you figure it would be one thing if both Harper and Rowan came out with him, but then they also had that Bludgeon Brothers gimmick. So have they just dropped that entirely?
Yeah, because the other one still hurt.
This literally made the least sense out of anything that happened outside of Rusev dropping the title to Nakamura.
Yeah, the Bludgeon Brothers are over. That's what this officially means. The other guy's probably still rehabbing or still not clear to wrestle, and now he's going to be the heavy for Daniel Bryan. He'll be his muscle. So, the Bludgeon Brothers are over.
If nothing else, at least when Harper does come back, it at least gives him the opportunity to be the single star that he is capable of. Because of the 2 of them, Luke Harper stands out way more than Eric Rowan does.
Yeah, he does, but they both never get any fanfare. When they come out, it's crickets, singles or together. Those guys are never going to get over. But yeah, this match was sad. It should have been especially after Takeover, this match should have been the match of the night, and this match was hands down the second. If you're going in order, this would have been it's not the top match out of the 7. It would have been the 6th. Yeah, it would have been right before the tag team if you're going in order of worst to best. So it was sad.
Yeah, so
sad.
Yeah, it would have been second. It would have been second lowest on the list, unfortunately.
Yep. Yeah, that's what.
Yep. Next up, a match that was much higher quality and much shorter on time. Brock Lesnar defending the Universal Championship against the man Finn Balor, not the Demon. Which I thought was funny because as Brock was leaving after the match, you saw somebody holding a sign that says, "We want the Demon," which, sorry, but according to both Finn and the WWE, you're not going to get him anytime soon. This match started off, Finn was hot to start things off. Brock shuts him down quickly. Then Finn shoves him into the corner of the announce table twice. And give credit to Brock. People say he can't sell worth shit. He was selling the hell out of that.
Yeah.
So full props to Brock Lesnar selling that gut injury. Keeps doing his suplexes, but it keeps hurting him more and more. goes for the F5. Finn spins out of it into a DDT, starts trying to, like, hits plancha after plancha over the top rope, and it's just like, good grief. I mean, it was scary the first time around, especially because it looked like Brock really had to move to get.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did.
To keep falling on his back.
Yeah, he saved him right there.
Yeah. And then inevitably Finn Balor goes, trying to go for a coup de grace, drop kick, sling blade, all of that. And then finally, when he goes to cover Brock or Brock goes to move, Brock locks in the Kimura lock, which is a submission we haven't really seen from Brock in the longest time. It's mostly been Suplex City, and Finn Balor taps out, and Brock Lesnar's still your Universal Champion. We kind of knew this was coming because they weren't going to give this to Finn Balor. I mean, as much as we would have wanted them to, because say what you want, despite what Vince McMahon thinks, Finn Balor is over as hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the end, Lesnar's carrying that title into Mania, and he's dropping it to the winner of the Rumble, which we'll get to a little bit later. Your thoughts?
I kind of predicted this when we did our, when we did the wrestling backstage breakdown last week, or before this, because I was trying to figure out how this match was going to go. Because I'm like, Finn doesn't have a submission move. Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles both have a submission that that looks good, tap people out. I said Finn doesn't have that. What is Finn going to do in this match? And we've seen it. He's got some good offense in the very beginning. He did the drop kick in the corner, did another drop kick in the corner, and this whole match I was just kind of like, thank goodness for Brock. I think people shit on Brock because I don't know. Yeah, he doesn't show up every week. It's not his fault. That's Vince's fault. But when he sells, he sells his ass off, like you said, and the whole thing was like, they pushed him. He pushed him into the side. He hurt his stomach. So I'm like, okay, since Finn doesn't have a submission that he could do, they got to sell some other injury so Brock could kind of be a little weak. But I'm like, Brock, this guy is literally half your weight. If Brock's 250, then that means Balor is 150. Like, he should have still been able to pick him up. And there was one weird thing where it looked like when Finn was down on his stomach and Brock went to pick him up. And I don't know if Balor did like a butt rape prevention move on him or something. It was so weird because Brock went to go pick him up from the back and he just hit his ass on his penis or some shit, and then Brock was like all hurt and stuff, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I'm like, what the fuck? But
in Brock's defense, I will say this: I've actually based on where he hit on that announce table, it looked like he could have been hitting like the floating ribs, like the lower end of the ribs. And I pulled a muscle around those ribs before. It sucks. Yeah. You can hardly do anything. Like, it's hard to breathe. You can't sleep. You can't even lay down or even go from a laying position to a sitting position because it hurts like hell.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's why I agree that when Brock was selling his ass off, they had to figure out a way to kind of neutralize him. The 3 planchas out of the ring.
4.
Was that?
I can't 4.
Oh, 4. Wow. And it just kind of showed that. It just shows that Finn Balor's moveset is just so limited. Where it's I'm like, okay, it's like you jumped over the guy 4 freaking times, and you think you're gonna win the heavyweight title like that. I was like, but I was shocked with the Kimura lock, because usually Brock's MO is the F5, boom, you're done. I did like the DDT, out of the F5. I thought that was really cool. But once that Kimura lock got locked in and Finn tapped, I was like, yeah, man, this was pretty good. Short match. Finn was able to get some stuff off. Brock, still looked good, and he helped Finn a lot, and I just wish that I really wish that Finn had a little more in his arsenal that he was able to use, because like I said when we were talking about this in the a couple days before, I was like, what is Finn going to do? Sling blade, drop kick in the corner, the coup, the coup, whatever it's called. And I was like, oh, man, he doesn't really have anything else. He doesn't do the 1926 or whatever it's called. He doesn't do that anymore. Yeah, so it's like, and that's what he did in this match. And after a while, it's like, yeah, You go to the corner and you're waiting and you run up and drop kick the guy. It's like he did that 3 times in the match. And, you know, I like Finn a lot. I just wish he just had a little more in his repertoire because I don't see him ever sniffing that title just by the moveset he has right now. But, yeah, Brock winning by submission was very impressive.
Yep, absolutely. Well, in any case, last up we had the men's Royal Rumble match. This was a lot of fun, though not near as fun as I would think as the women's match. We did have a handful of really cool surprise entrants here. Johnny Gargano I thought was good, and we saw his wife Candice LeRae earlier on in the night. You also had Aleister Black, you had Pete Dunne, a whole bunch of really good surprise entrants. No Velveteen Dream. No, I'm still disappointed about that. I still think Velveteen Dream. No EC3. Where was EC3?
That's what I was going to ask. Like, they're more of the tag team, the new tag team, Heavy Machinery. Not in the Rumble.
Yeah, no Machinery. Nobody. Like what the heck was that? Like you said, no. Granted, I've been MIA for a while. Not even Lars Sullivan. Like, what gives? But in any case, like I said, I thought it was cool seeing Aleister Black. I thought it was cool seeing Pete Dunne. It was cool seeing Johnny Gargano. That was all kinds of fun. We got some really cool storylines playing out. Mustafa Ali eliminating Samoa Joe, which I thought was cool. Also eliminating Shinsuke Nakamura. So there's a story there going into Mania, perhaps with chasing the U.S. title. So I thought that was good. Obviously, we still got the
Aleister Black eliminating Dean Ambrose. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, Aleister Black eliminating Dean Ambrose, and then subsequently Baron eliminating Aleister Black, which the crowd shit all over him for. And then so many moments our truth get thrown in there, and then of course we had 3 guys gang up on a woman. She ate a 619, an RKO, and a
no. Everybody, this was killing me. Everybody online right now. Sorry to break it up because you already messed it up. Everybody online is missing the fact that she ate a super kick first. Everybody keeps glossing over the super kick, but I'll wait till you're done because I want to get to my favorite part of the whole night.
I knew I was missing something in there. So yes, she had a super kick from Dolph Ziggler, fell on the ropes, raised her with a 619, then she ate an RKO, and then she got eliminated. So, and a lot of people, then ganging up on women, this, that, and the other. Anybody who wants to think about that, first of all, she chose to go in there. Let's not ignore that fact. She beat up one guy already to get in there, so she gave it what she got. Not that it took 3 finishers to wipe her out, which proves she's a strong woman in her own right. Shut the hell up, you bunch of whiny little babies. In any case, like I said, final 4 came down to, if I'm not mistaken, it was Braun, Andrade, Dolph Ziggler, and Seth Rollins, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah. Which, good on Andrade for being in the final 4 in his, this was his second Royal Rumble match. So, obviously, they've got a lot of faith in him. But in the end, it boils down to Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins. Seth pulls Braun over the top rope along with him and then hits a curb stomp on the apron in order to eliminate Strowman. Seth Rollins is going to the main event of WrestleMania, presumably to face Brock Lesnar, which makes the most sense. I enjoyed this match. Like I said, not nearly as much as I enjoyed the women's match, but it was still a lot of fun. We got a lot of fun spots. We got, Big E messing around with, I can't remember if it was Johnny Gargano or he was throwing the pancakes in the mouth or whatever, so that was fun. We got a call back to the Titus World Slide incident, which I thought was entertaining. So overall, I'm not mad about the results of this match. I think the right person won, and the right storyline to play out WrestleMania. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this was if it wasn't for the very ending stuff, I think it was lackluster, to be honest. Like, the women's one was so much better for some reason to me in my eyes. Maybe it's just because it's only the second women's one. Jeff Jarrett was a surprise coming out number 2, wearing his, Jeff Jarrett coming out. Elias opening the show. He got a little guitar thing. Everybody kept thinking they were going to sing, Jeff Jarrett's famous song from WWE. Jeff Jarrett coming out, I guess he needs that money because he was wearing that god-awful 90s outfit he was wearing when WWE after he walked out on him and went to WCW. You know, so man, I mean, I guess you do anything for money, people. Yeah, he got hit with the guitar in the back, which was cool. You know, Kurt Angle coming out fourth. You know, Shinsuke coming out third was surprising because he was the only one from the pre-show that actually made it to the Rumble. You know, not too many fun spots or favorable spots. You know, some of these eliminations were happening really quickly. You know, Shinsuke, I think, eliminated Kurt Angle. You know, Shinsuke getting eliminated. Mustafa Ali was cool. You know, so you're right. There'd probably be a storyline building up there. But Samoa Joe, you know, doing really well in the Rumble. The New Day, they just didn't do it for me this year. I don't know what Kofi was trying to do, but both attempts just looked bad. I did not like the whole, oh, he fell on his back, his legs didn't touch. You know, it's like, all right, this is enough. Like that just took me out of it. I was just like, no, I was like, I didn't like that at all. You know, yeah, I didn't like that at all. I was just like, all right, you guys are really pushing this. Like, it's dead. Like, you beat this to death. Like, let it go. Surprising to me, not a lot of tag teams were in this Rumble. No Ascension, you know, a lot of the tag teams weren't in the Rumble, so it was mostly single competitors. No Lucha
none of that. No
House Party. No.
Yeah, no Lucha House Party. Yeah.
Yeah. Zack Ryder, he didn't show up. You know, which he showed up last Monday.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So you know, Shelton came out. Shelton Benjamin was there, which was cool to see him. I mean, he didn't really do much. But to me, the Bobby Lashley coming out, getting eliminated really quickly. You know, then putting Seth through a table, which seemed like it lasted for like 20 fucking minutes. Seth out there, like, come on, man, like that stuff. I don't really care for that stuff. Braun, you know, Braun gets hurt or hit or some crap, so he's out the ring during the whole thing. You know, you get then you get, you know, number 30. You know, we got we got R-Truth coming out. You know, he starts to "What's up" on the mic, and then lo and behold, you know, you see Nia Jax running up out of the back. Man, she hits him with a double arm. You know, all the commentary. I really like the commentary on this. I literally watched this thing. Because from her coming into the ring to her leaving the Rumble, it only lasted maybe like 5 minutes. And I literally watched this thing like 20 times. It was my favorite part of yesterday's Royal Rumble match, you know. So her coming out, putting a whooping on R-Truth, coming in the ring. Everybody's like, what the hell is going on? Oh, I guess she's legit now. She comes into the ring. She runs right into Dolph Ziggler. She hits him with the splash in the corner, you know. She catches somebody she catches Rey Mysterio. No, she hit somebody else first, and then she hit Rey Mysterio with a stomp, man, like a straight up stomp while he was standing up. She literally hit him on the ground, and then she gave him the big elbow. I was like, oh, that was really cool. She gets up, Mustafa Ali, you know, just turns around, and he's like, what is that? What's going on? You know, and then she just looks at him like this, and she smiles, and the dimples are there. Like, a lot of people shit on Nia Jax. I like her. Yeah, she might be a little green still, but you know, she looks like she really likes you know, the craft of wrestling, and you know, she has charm, you know, and she comes off, you know, so she takes Mustafa Ali, she dumps him out of the Rumble, you know, was like, oh shit, and then Randy Orton, you know, Jesus, this guy, he's ready to strike, looking at her. She turns around and he doesn't, you know, he's got the half smile on, and he kind of just stands up. He's looking at her. He looks the other way. Then he goes to hit her. She pushes him away. She gives him the shoulder block. A lot of people are like, oh, man, this was WWE burying her for hurting Becky Lynch. I'm like, she wasn't buried at all here. Like,
anybody who's making that argument is like, you clearly weren't watching what was going on there. Number one, she is getting the rub from guys like Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton. She's in there in the second woman ever to be in both the women's and the men's Royal Rumble match. She held her own, eliminated somebody in that match, and had to be taken out by 3 different finishers in order to be eliminated. That's not a burial.
Yeah.
That's giving her a lot of shine.
It was – I really liked it because, you know, then she grabs – she hits Randy on the shoulder block, right? He falls into the ropes, the second rope. And then, you know, Rey Mysterio gets back up after she gave him the elbow. So he gets up like, what the You know, and she's just like, hey, go ahead. Like, there you go. You know, so he's like, all right. He runs to the ropes, and then she hits him. She picks him up. You know, yep, she got him on the shoulders. That's when Dolph Ziggler hits her with the super kick. Rey Mysterio hits her in the back or the bottom, you know, because she sold the super kick, but she didn't fall. She was still standing. Yeah, dropped the ropes. JBL is really like defending her at this time, like, hey, what's going on? What's going? Oh man, don't do that. What's you know? So JBL is kind of like neutral right now, like, which, you know, surprising. You know, we know about JBL. You know, but he's kind of like, oh man, yeah, she's allowed. And Michael Cole's like, yeah, she's in the match. She eliminated somebody, so she's got to be legal. So whatever goes. And Rey Mysterio's doing is like, oh shit, okay. So he kicks her in the back. She falls on the rope. He hits her with 619, you know, and then she gets up. Randy Orton, boom, hits her with the RKO, right? Corey Graves, right? Michael Cole says something. Corey Graves starts laughing, and he's like, what is happening right now? Like, Corey Graves is laughing. And then, so before that, JBL was in her corner like, oh, why these guys? Oh, man, what's going on? But as soon as Randy Orton hit her with the RKO, you know, JBL changed his tune. Oh, my God, he's laughing. He's whooping and he's like, oh, man, I bet you his dad is watching from home, laughing it up, man. He's loving this. You know, so it's like, so JBL was like, I don't get it. Like, I guess he must just love Randy Orton because he changed his tune when she got RKO. Then he was all good with it, you know.
Though, but, I will say this, as far as like the show overall goes, I think you and I can both agree on one thing. Thank God Jerry Lawler was calling the men's Rumble match and not the women's.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would have been non-stop perv jokes. And
that one flew. That one flew well. Beth Phoenix there too. You know, Beth Phoenix did that bad.
Beth Phoenix and Renee Young, I thought were great, and they played off of I think it was either Michael Cole or Corey Graves or both. I can't remember.
Corey Graves. Yeah, they did pretty well. Even Lawler was having a hoot and hollering at that. You know, so at that time, I think all the commentators were really like in sync and just really having a good time. And I think, you know, for all the shit, like I said, people give Nia Jax. I think her coming out really refreshed the atmosphere in the crowd, really refreshed the atmosphere in the arena. You know, when she got in the ring and started, you know, doing what she had to do, like the crowd was invested, you know. And once she got eliminated, you know, everything went kind of quickly after that, you know. And the curb stomp outside type of thing, I guess it was okay. Seth Rollins won. I mean, I don't know if the crowd really popped. Well, you probably know better than me. I couldn't tell if the crowd was really happy or they was kind of like, whatever. We kind of figured that was going to happen. You know, but yeah, it was, you know, it was a good pay-per-view, you know, a couple of bumps in the road, but I thought the pay-per-view was better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Overall, I'd give this year's Royal Rumble a B+, I would say. B+, maybe even A-. What about you?
Yeah, you know, besides the tag team match that was kind of like and the AJ Styles match, yeah, I'm right there with you, B+.
All right, cool. Well, in that case, like I said, regardless of what we think, what did you guys think of the Royal Rumble? Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. If you're a fan of wrestling, be sure to join us here at Jack of All Trivia for the Wrestling League. I am the current reigning champion there. We're always looking for new competitors. Get in touch with Haven on Facebook, and he will be more than happy to help you guys get set up in a match. You can also be sure to follow us here at All Trivia on all of our different leagues, movies, comic books, wrestling, Inner Geekdom. We'll actually have a match for that coming up here in just a little bit. But regardless, let's wrap this up. Thank you for joining me. Where can everybody find you on the socials?
Oh, yeah, brother. Of course, if you're going on your computer or you're going on any of your digital devices, you go to Facebook, you look up Jack of All Trivia. That's where you find the big bad booty daddy. And of course, if you want to see something live, some live content, you go on YouTube and you look for Jack of All Trivia, baby.
Absolutely. And of course, you can find me here at Jack of All Trivia, running the Inner Geekdom Leagues and competing as the wrestling champion and getting my ass kicked in the movie division. You can also find me over at my personal channels, Shinga Productions, where I do a lot of my reactions and reviews, you'll be able to see my full, well, not full reactions, but my edited reactions to the Royal Rumble over there on that channel, hopefully sometime soon. You can also follow my fitness vlogs at James Shimo so that you can keep up to date with me on that. And you can also, yeah, that's pretty much just about it. But for those of us here at Jack of All Trades, we thank you for joining us. We're going to wrap this thing up because that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. We'll see you guys next time.